So our initial preliminary problem statement was, how might we help undergraduate students identify research opportunities that match their readiness, align with their majors, and provide a positive experience? Now, initially in our group, this was a decent start to a problem statement, but we really talked about needing to balance specificity, such as things that are measurable, like readiness is really vague. What does that mean to the person? How do we define that? How do we measure it? As well as balancing it with broadness, encapsulating all the things that we want to encapsulate. Our updated problem statement was, how might we help undergraduate students identify research opportunities that match their profile in order to develop their skills and satisfy their needs? Now I'm going to talk about the stakeholders map. So to summarize some of the different challenges faced by different groups for everyone, and these are just a couple key examples. One of the first challenges is just where to start looking. Information is very siloed. Outreach can be very siloed. People might, if they're in biology, they're only looking and talking to people in biology, but maybe people outside of biology know opportunities. And with regard to that, also lack of awareness of different databases on campus. And so one of them is the research programs database. A couple other key stakeholders was the arts, humanities, social sciences. Some of the challenges faced by them is just difficulty finding formal and clear opportunities. A lot of opportunities are STEM focused, a lot of grants. The mentoring can be very different, so it's not going to be the same as like a lab having an opening, more informal. And then also maybe the belief that research is STEM. Some students might not think that research can be done in arts, humanities, and social sciences. Another group was international undocked students who are not U.S. citizens. There are a lack of opportunities for these students, mostly due to limited by funding regulations. A lot of funding sources are from the government, and then the government puts regulations on that they need to be for U.S. citizens. And then another stakeholders are staff and advisors, people who help students find opportunities, and they simply might not know about all the opportunities. There are so many different programs, so it's just so much information. I don't know all of it. So now I'm going to talk about empathy, observation. Two key things came up a lot in our AEIOU. One is increasing the advertising of these databases and these opportunities to students, staff, and faculty, and then targeted outreach, share information with groups that might not get as much outreach as other groups. For example, talking to the USS and giving them flyers or how to connect with research opportunities.
Moving on to the empathy phase, we have conducted 17 interviews in total that covered a wide range of stakeholder demographics. Our main goal is to understand how users navigate through the database to find the opportunities that match their needs, and so we can empathize with them. Some of the main takeaways are that most of our interviewees think it's a good resource. However, the opportunities are very STEM heavy, which some of interviewees find it hard to find anything applicable to them. Besides, people mentioned that there were too much information that could cause cognitive overload, and some had problems with the filtering system, which make it difficult to identify a specific category of opportunities they want.
Conducted our secondary research, our team looked into a few different things. We found that surprisingly, a large amount of big research universities don't have comprehensive research databases. Additionally, when we were looking at how we could improve the UI/UX of our page, we researched Notion and how the search and filtering is very similar, which can be both a good and bad thing, as many students are already familiar with using Notion. However, those who aren't consistently found it more confusing, according to our interviews and research. This means we could potentially add a tutorial on how to use the database. Finally, with the real portal, the main issue seems to lie within the fact that we lack faculty and student engagement. And then we came to the conclusion that we should start asking more professors to use it and spread the word so that it becomes a more established tool at UCSD. When we created our synthesis matrix, we found that UCSD students come from so many different backgrounds, and there's no main one way to get everyone involved. However, a good place to start would be increasing awareness of the program database as well as the real portal, as mentioned earlier, because currently, even for our largest group of stakeholders, there can be limited opportunities simply because not all of them are known about or listed.
For our updated statement, And my team wanted to change the matching to readiness portions because we believed one's readiness was difficult to account for as it's based on an arbitrary metric. We also wanted to focus on navigation of the databases versus identification, since we already have a robust system in place and it's difficult for first-time users to use. The goal of our team was to solve this so that the URH hub is more widely used and identified as a clear centralized tool that students can use to match opportunities. All this resulted in our new problem statement. How might we help undergraduate students better navigate the URH database in order to help them identify research opportunities that match their profile holistically? Significant takeaways that my team had from this project were that the issues with the URH database are multifaceted. At a macro level, it's a combination of a decentralized campus, poor marketing, and non-standard silos of communication. At a micro level, the database needs to promote greater accessibility by reducing its barriers to entries for first-time users. It needs to be less overwhelming, easier to find, and intuitive to navigate its multi-layered profile filtering system. In moving forward with SPUR, these are the greatest factors to keep in mind.